Welcome to the Octagon. Yeah. Folks, welcome aboard. We are going to use green little octagons for my favorite food consumable company, and that is Foodstuff.Biz. And these folks are going to give me this beautiful little green octagon that I can serve small, warm berry cobbler with a wonderful almond crust. And I'm going to do that in these little cobbler shaped octagon displays, and it's going to look really chic. And people are going to look at that and go, wow, how did you do that? And you're going to be able to say not only how you did it, but you'll be able to know where you got the containers from too. So let's get busy making that little mini cobbler in my test kitchen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what we have is very, very simple, but it's going to be awesome. We're going to be using our Foodstuff.Biz containers here, these beautiful green octagons. Do you see those? They're awesome. We're going to make about 4 little cobblers in these using fresh fruit, sugar, and almonds, and this is going to look awesome. So first off, I've got my fruit. I prefer using frozen fruit for this specific recipe, but you can use fresh. But frozen gives you an extra value of water, and so I like that because then I don't have to add water to fresh berries. So I would suggest you use frozen. So this is 1 full cup of frozen berries. And they're triple berries. I have strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, blueberries there. So actually quadruple. How about that? I have 2 tablespoons of raw sugar. I have a 1/4 cup of almond meal. And of course my awesome green octagons. We're going to get started by putting the fruit in a saucepan, and then we're going to take the sugar and add it to it. We're just going to wait for it to reduce and get nice and sugary, and then we're going to transfer it into these wonderful octagons, and we're going to top it with the almond meal. You can get this anywhere in the store. I like to use my own almonds to do this, so I took a bunch of raw almonds and just pureed them inside of a food processor, but you can also buy them in any kind of grocery store too as a bag called almond meal, okay? And I use almonds because it makes this dish not just healthy, but also just really makes it stand out. And you'll see why in a minute. So let's get started and get this stuff heated up. The saucepan on medium heat here. I'm just going to go ahead and put all the berries in there, and then I'm going to go ahead and add the sugar. I'm going to go ahead and add the sugar here. And we're just going to let that reduce and make sure we stir that around until we get a nice little, just kind of almost like a jammy mixture of fruit. We don't want the fruit to break down. We want the fruit to be clumpy, so look out for that. Okay, so as you can see, the fruit is beginning to make a nice little syrup there, and it's also keeping its shape. We're going to let it sit there for about another 3 or 4 minutes or transfer it to our green octagons. Alright, so here we are. We have our fruit that's nice and warmed and has a really good syrup made with the sugar and the reduction of the fruit. Notice how the fruit has kept its shape. We want it to keep its shape. So there it is, nice and full of shape. And then we have our green octagons ready to be portioned, and we also have our meal right here, which I'll bring into in a minute. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and just get a nice even portion of all the fruit and place it in each one of the octagons, like so. And you want to place just a little in each one at a time so that you know you've got enough to cover all 4. Because this recipe really is for 4 octagons, so if you're making this for any more than that, and certainly just double or triple the recipe. We want to have a little of this syrup, but we don't want to have a lot. So be careful of that because you don't want to have syrup just floating in the cups. You can use this for something else, but right now we're just going to go ahead and use this to just take care of making our recipe right now. Okay, now here we go. We've got our wonderful octagons filled with fresh berries, and now it's time for us to do a little bit of magic. I'm going to go ahead and take just a little bit of this almond meal and just make sure that we cover it completely with, oh, there's a whole almond. See, I told you I wasn't kidding. I used up real almonds. And just cover the fruit with the almond meal. And you can see why I don't want you to use too much of the syrup, because you don't want the almond meal to start getting all soft You want it to keep that composure of almost like a flour, because by the time you get this out to people, you'll have a little bit of a pasty flavor from the bottom of the almonds, and that really is what you're shooting for. Okay, so here we are, and here's a perfect example. See how this is beginning to get juicified right here? You want it to look like these three, not like that, but it's a good example. So now what we're going to do now is we're going to do just a little more hint of chef touch. And what we're going to do when I get back is we're going to put a little bit of cream and top it off with a piece of fresh fruit and a mint leaf. Here we go. And if you do have fresh fruit, or you did use fresh fruit, keep a few pieces behind to make this last piece garnish, okay? So we're going to take a little cream. We're going to put the cream right on the top, like so. Looks really, really good, man. Really, really good. And as you can see, this one certainly has juiced up quite a lot. So just watch how much juice you put in it, okay? It doesn't look bad. It looks just more like fruit with nothing on it. And that's why you want to make sure that you're always doing that this way. And then take the mint leaf and the fruit and just touch it like that. That's a nice little technique there. You can just make that leaf stand up by pushing the fruit down on the leaf like so, and then the leaf will stand up like that. Just put the leaf on the cream and then push the piece of fruit in like that. And folks, there you have it. Just a wonderful dessert there. The octagon with berry cobbler. You can't go wrong. Bon appetit.